Students, how are you? So this is your Manjunath sir, supposed to start the lesson 12th chapter from the history section, that is Cholas and Hoysalas of Dwarasumudra. This is quite very important chapter, especially that we are supposed to learn about the history of southern part of India. In this chapter we are supposed to learn about the expansion of the Chola Empire and contribution to the different field. Next one, establishment of Hoysala dynasty, the contribution to the religious, literature, art and architecture field. So these are the important topics that we are going to have the discussion. Now let us understand Chola dynasty. In the Chola dynasty, it was obviously started 850 CE Common Era to CE Common Era to 1279. After the Pallavas, Cholas secured the firm hold on many areas in Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and certain areas of Karnataka, ruled from 9th century to 13th century. So here 9th century means middle 9th century that Cholas dynasty started, and at the ending part of the 13th century Cholas dynasty came into an end. So totally Cholas, they ruled our India, especially southern part of India, nearly 400 years. Remember here earlier we know that southern part of India were ruled by Pallavas, and Pallavas were dominating in southern part of India. When Pallava kings became so much weak in southern part of India, and that Pallavas were replaced by Cholas. Remember here Cholas, they were dominating, they extended their empire over Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka. So these are the important areas. Next one, to the Cholas, then credit of spreading Indian culture to the foreign countries, foreign land. So whatever the culture that India is having, especially southern part of Indian culture, so that was spreaded to the other countries, especially Southeast Asian countries, and that credit should go to the Cholas. So today if somebody is living in Southeast Asian countries, then obviously then credit has to go to the Cholas. So many Southeast Asian countries, they are having the tradition of India, especially the million people, the credit should go to the Cholas. And next one, they constructed the grand temples. Next, Brihadeshwara temple is their important contribution. So here is in the map that you can understand. Our southern part of India was being ruled by different communities or different dynasties like Cholas, Pandyas, Cheras and many other small dynasties we can say. But when the Cholas were ruling our India, especially southern part of India, so their power was concentrated over three areas. That is obviously coastal area of Andhra Pradesh or completely Andhra Pradesh, and Telangana, today's present Telangana, certain areas of Karnataka and certain areas of Tamil Nadu were also the part of Chola dynasty. They became the famous by encouraging the Tamilian literature. Here you can say, so these are the important countries. I said Southeast Asian countries means these are the important Southeast Asian countries. Even they spreaded their culture to this part of the world also, so that Tamilian culture can be seen in these countries. Karikala Chola. Now let us understand. So Cholas were under the Pallava for some time and later became the independent ruler. That means when these Pallavas were ruling certain areas of our Karnataka or Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, at that time these Cholas were they were ruling, or they were like a tributary ruler we can say. And when these Pallavas, they became weak, and finally that vacant place was replaced by Cholas. According to the Sangama literature, the Karikala Chola is the founder of this dynasty. So that Karikala Chola, this is very important, and this person, he established the Chola dynasty. Vijaya Chola revived the kingdom and made the Tanjavur as his capital city. So Tanjavur obviously This was the important capital city that Tanjavur comes now in Tamil Nadu. So that person made the Tanjavur as an important capital city of the Chola. Now let us understand Karikala Chola. So what are the important contribution given by that person? So he expanded his territory and he made his power firm. Now let us understand the Rajaraja first Rajaraja. So one of the important famous ruler among the Chola, and he was brave, great warrior and able administrator, and as a founder of the Chola Empire he strengthened his foundation and expanded his kingdom on a 4 direction, so that he overpowered the Cheras, Gangas, even Pandyas. Remember, when this Rajaraja Chola first he was ruling our southern part of India, obviously we know that southern part of India was being ruled by different rulers like Cheras, Gangas, Pandyas and many other small dynasties. So that this Rajaraja Chola, he has to face the war against the Cheras, Gangas, even Pandyas. By defeating the different dynasties in southern part of India, Rajaraja Chola expanded the Chola Empire in southern part of India. The credit of expanding the Chola Empire goes to the same person, that is Rajaraja Chola first, building naval force, and he captured the Sri Lanka. And next one we can see the predominance of the Tamilians in Malaysia, even Singapore. Today if you go to Malaysia and Singapore, so there also we can get to see Tamilian culture. Tamil language can be seen in the Malaysia, even Singapore, and the culture of India like sari and all these can be identified in these countries. Then the credit should go to the Rajaraja Chola first. Why? Because he spreaded culture of India to the other countries, especially Southeast Asian countries such as Malaysia, Singapore and many other countries we can say. Next, their influence in the political, economic and cultural activities of these countries can be seen even today also. Next, they began to oversee the trade which continued till today we can say. So that ASEAN countries you might have heard. So ASEAN we can say this is so association of the Southeast Asian countries. Southeast Asian countries with these countries, India is having the free trade relation. So that we are having the good trade relation with these countries. So that trade relation with the Southeast Asian countries like Malaysia, Singapore, Taiwan, Myanmar, Laos, Cambodia. So totally there are 8 countries are there in this group, that is ASEAN. 8 or obviously 8 countries or 8 sorry, and recently 2 more added. So 10 countries are there. So with these ASEAN countries, the trade relation was established by Rajaraja Chola first, and that trade relation till today it is being continued. Next, Rajaraja Chola, he is the person, just you can have the picture of that person. And Brihadeshwara temple built by Rajaraja Chola in Tanjavur is the very famous in India. Next, Brihadeshwara temple in Tanjavur, that the picture you can see very easily, so that you can understand. Chola Empire weakened during the period of the Rajendra Chola III, and Pandyas they could overpower the Cholas very easily. So when this Rajaraja Chola Rajendra Chola III, he was the king of the Chola dynasty, and the Chola Empire it started to decline, and they were overpowered by another dynasty, that is Pandyas. So here it is the picture that you can understand. So this is the area which was dominated by Chola Empire. Suppose we can understand this area means today's Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, even Kerala. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Chola Empire it covered nearly 5 states in southern part of India. Now let us understand the contribution of the Cholas to the administration field. First of all, Chola had set up an able and efficient administration system in India, and the kingdom had been divided into Mandalam, Kotvari, Nadu, Kuram or community of the village, that is Tarakuram. So that today how we are having system in the same way, manner earlier Chola administration was also divided. Like now our India has been divided into small states, so totally 28 states are there, and 28 states again they are further divided into districts. In Karnataka we are having 30 districts, and again the 30 district can be divided into taluks again they can be divided into hublis. So that in the same manner, for carrying the administration in an efficient manner, then entire the kingdom was divided into 4 parts, like same in like present situation. Okay. Self government of village. Now let's understand. The foremost quality of the Chola Empire was, that is, development of the self government system in India. Means village panchayati raj system was developed. The Grama Sabha were the first Sabhas. Next, see, Tarakuram was the village. In this manner, then we can get to see there were many local self-government like Grama Panchayati. And this was also called Puramgiri, and members were chosen through the election, remember. So how we are having election system in India, local self-government direct election. So earlier when the Cholas were having system or village administration system, at that time also the election system was present. Means the source of democracy could be seen in Chola Empire. And remember, within few months obviously our Karnataka is going to witness election for the Grama Sabha or Grama Panchayati, Taluk Panchayati and all. So these are local self government. We are supposed to witness election very soon. So that system can be seen in Chola Empire as also. Only Sanskrit scholar, rich people were allowed to stand for the election. So this is quite unique one if we compare to the system that we have at present scenario. Only the people who were rich or people who were good in Sanskrit language or Sanskrit philosophy, so they could stand for the election, not common people. But common people, they were having right to vote. Economic life. Now let us understand. 1/4 part of the land revenue, it was utilized it was collected as a land tax. Special attention has been given to the irrigation system. So this is also quite very very important. Whenever you see the Chola Empire, you should be able to understand 3 important aspects. First of all, Indian culture was spreaded to other countries, especially Southeast Asian countries like Singapore, Malaysia, Cambodia, obviously Myanmar. So these are the countries. In these countries, Indian culture can be seen. Second one is there's local government system. It was existed during the Chola Empire. Next one, another important feature, that is the Cholas, they introduced the irrigation system, and Chola constructed many lakes, and the near the Bangalore there are many lakes can be seen. Even we can get to see today. So Bangalore was a city where nearly 8 to 10 lakes were present. Now these are no more existed. So these are covered by the buildings, road and infrastructure. But at earlier age there were many lakes nearby the Bangalore. They built the huge pond in many places in Karnataka, and Belandur lake near the Bangalore, here you can get to see. This was construction of the Chola Empire. So huge ponds and irrigation system, it was completely well developed during the Chola Empire. Now let us understand an art and architecture. Cholas were Saivist, and they built many Shiva temples. Brihadeshwara temple in Tanjore is for about 500 feet tall, and it is in the courtyard. It's is in the courtyard 250 feet wide. So that many important art and architecture we can get to see during this Chola Empire. So here you can get to see how many contributions were given by Chola Empire for these kind of the system. Here with the help of the picture you can understand in a much better way. So these are the important temples, constructions. These are the contribution given by Chola Empire to the Indian culture. Brihadeshwara temple, here you can get to see. Just let me show all the pictures, how the contribution was given. by the Chola Empire and how they were well versed, especially in infrastructure, art, and architecture. Now let us understand contribution of Cholas for the education. Cholas established many agraharas to encourage education for the common people, and one of the important famous agrahara means like a today's school. Now we people are getting educations in school, college, university. At the time, agrahara were the place where the education was given to the common people or children. Temples were center of the education. Even in the temples also education was given, and they were also center of the religious activities. Means in temple were the place where education was given. Even it was a place for the religious activities like adhyatmik. Literature. Here spelling is missing. This was a period with the Tamil literature found all around development. Noteworthy works are Ramayana written by Kamba, Pariya Puran composed by Sekilar. So that so many books were written during this Chola Empire. Next one, Hoysalas of Dwarasamudra. This is the topic that I will be covering in next video. I will not cover this Hoysalas of Dwarasamudra in this video, so that let us see. First we will have one exam, that is FA2, and everyone is requested to go through all the videos, and if there is any doubt that you are having with the videos and all or concept, you can contact me anytime. Thank you all.